like I was saying before recording, I've been interested in chatting with you because of we both were in Agretzico, and I thought you did great work on that.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, thank you. And I had also played Fire Emblem and heard you in that. And you were saying to me right before this that you watched the video where my mom ranked the Fire Emblem characters.
Yes.
What did she say? She said, what did she say about little Flame?
She said two things. The first one, she gave me a big aw, and I'm like, yes, yeah, mom, yes, yes, I want mom. And then she was like, she looks like she needs help, and I didn't know if that was she looks like she has a question and needs help, or she needs therapy.
With Flame, maybe a little bit of both, but
I think it's
I think it was definitely like, she's just, you look at Flame, you just want to help her. I get that. I in my ranking of the characters, I think she came up pretty well too. An S rank, I believe, which is a high honor. I will say.
I appreciate that on behalf of her and me.
And all Flames everywhere.
Yes, all Flames.
Because I believe at the top of that video, or maybe not the mom one, but the other one, I was like, if you're one of the Fire Emblem voice actors watching this, apologies in advance. But you actually got off pretty well. So, well, you just happen to have a great character. So lucky you.
Well, thanks.
But yeah, I'm glad to have you sit down with me. Now, I'm just curious to start things off. What are, let's say during, these times when you have free time, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do for fun?
What am I doing in my house when I cannot go outside?
Well, let's say, yeah, sure. What are you doing to preoccupy your time during these troubled times?
I currently am relaxing like the old 75-year-old woman.
Okay.
I've been crocheting a lot while drinking tea and watching the BBC.
Okay. What have you been watching?
I've been watching a lot of rewatching Downton Abbey, watching Bake Off for the umpteenth time. I started listening to podcasts recently, so sometimes that'll replace my Bake Off.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Living my old lady life.
My wife is really big into the Bake Off, and I will watch sometimes as well because it's great. I always get his name wrong. It's not Paul. Is it Paul? Paul.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it. I'm thinking of two words.
Yes, you are.
It's actually Paul Holiday.
You were so close.
Paul Christmas. Paul.
Where does BoJack Horseman take place?
Paul
and then
Hollywood. Paul Hollywood.
Yes.
That's right. Not Holiday. But every time I think I call him Paul Christmas, she's like, his name is not Paul Christmas. But I know enough. He gives his little handshake, right? Like if he really respects a cake or whatever.
It's a big thing.
I enjoyed that whenever I catch some of that. Downton Abbey I have actually never seen, but I've heard good things.
As my husband said when he came in and watched me watch it, he walked across the screen and just went, Ponce, 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 cup of tea, oh, Ponce, Ponce, and then left. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. How many seasons is that show?
I'm going to be terrible. 6 in a movie? Is it 6?
And it's like British where they're like 6 episodes a season or something? Or no?
I think there's a bit more.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I've been rewatching, and in my mind, there was a lot more that the stakes of different events were very high. And the first event was a flower competition.
Okay, yeah.
So you can imagine it's a life or death thing.
I mean, from Great British Bake Off, the stakes can be high even if it's about cakes. Cakes or flowers or whatever,
I was corrected as 6 seasons in a movie.
6 seasons and a movie.
And a movie.
Very community.
I had the best experience watching that movie. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
My friend Carolina and I went to go see it, and the theater was completely empty save for us and an elderly couple who decided to sit right next to us and
Wow.
watch it.
Yeah.
And the husband was kind of like, you know, that curmudgeon-y old man stereotype that secretly likes giving like the kids candy, but no, in the
Sure.
safe way, not in the danger way.
Yeah.
I should have yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So he would kind of give us commentary the entire movie because he had no idea what was happening. He was just there for his wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Any
was really
choice
cute.
comments you recall while watching it?
He talked about Maggie Smith a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was kind of like these people seem very uppity for no reason. Like, what is this? Oh, the Queen. That was another big.
Did it enhance your experience or detract from your experience, or both?
I say enhance.
Yeah.
And detract, perhaps, because I don't remember really what happened in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember this kind of back and forth, which worked, you know.
Did the wife like tell him to stop, or was she participating fully in the conversation?
She was shushy.
I see.
Yeah. She
Which
was invested.
Which makes it even better. Yeah.
It was cute. Yeah. I'm also, what am I doing? I'm playing a lot of video games.
Yeah. What are you playing?
I've been going through the Assassin's Creeds.
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah.
I don't know the plural.
The Assassin's Creeds, I believe. Yeah.
I've been assassinating.
And creeding.
And creeding. Can't forget the creeding.
Which ones have you played so far?
I started in the middle.
Okay.
I started with Syndicate last year. And it scratched my Victorian England itch. And
I sense a theme here.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Did that, and then I jumped into Origins, which I was not ready for. You know, I just came off this like, oh, this series is just, you know, very fun and light, and I'm just gonna go on like run around roofs and meet historical figures and have a pint and tra la 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 la. And then opening cutscene, boom, Game of Thrones feels, and I'm like, why? This is not what I thought it was. But it was solid. And then I played Odyssey, and I loved Odyssey so much.
So I actually am not current on the last one I played. I think was Brotherhood. I don't know if you're familiar with. That was like several installments ago. That was still when they were still in Italy. I think it was Italy. But Syndicate you said is that the one that's multiplayer? Or is that a different one?
You can play. It's not multiplayer that I'm aware of, but you can play as either protagonist. It's, I believe, the first one where they had two different protagonists you could play as.
Got it. Origins is the Egypt one?
Yeah.
Egypt one, and then Odyssey is the Viking? No. Greek? Yeah, I mean that would make sense. Odyssey. I think the Viking one I think is the new one, maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
And what sort of draws you into those games?
So for Syndicate, it was very much, I just like that aesthetic and that time period. So that was me just going, yeah. I'm waiting for another book to come out. I'll just jump in this world for a bit.
Sure.
And I appreciated the stories, so I said, okay, I'll play the next couple ones. And I really love RPGs in general. I like storylines where I feel invested in my characters and the world, and this did both of those. So I really enjoyed it, but I also, because I haven't played all of them, you know, you said you played Brotherhood, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I played 1, 2, and Brotherhood.
So it does the thing where it will go to like the present, where we realize that everything is like a simulation.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like, someone turning the lights on in the middle of the movie and being like, "Hey, you're watching a movie," and I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, they're immersion. The worst parts of I remember of the original games, like, because yes. I don't know what they're like now. So let me ask you this: Do the new games are they still a continuing story in the present day stuff? Like,
yes, but I don't understand any of it because I wasn't there for the beginning. So
I'm like, gonna tell you, as someone who played the first 3, it's the most boring shit ever. It's like, you know, it's like I want to be Ezio running around Italy, and and then it's just you go into like a big silver building, and you're like, I'm White Man Johnson, and I walk around and talk about things that no one cares about. Is that still what those games do in the present day? Great. So that's just, I guess, a fixture of the series at this point. But
yeah. White Man Johnson. It's a thing. It takes me. I'm like, no, I want it to be in Egypt.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it because they want to have like. Well, actually, I don't get it because nobody. I don't think anybody goes into Assassin's Creed going, I can't wait for the present day lore where they walk around in boring clothes and talk about things I don't understand. You want to be in the time that the game takes place in and killing things.
Yes. I want to assassin in that period. There's too much of that in the present.
I think they're just stuck with it at this point. That or one guy at Ubisoft is like, no, the integrity of the series is... It's like, who cares? But
it all falls on the present.
Yes, otherwise there's no structure. No, who gives a shit? Okay. You mentioned RPGs. Now, does that mean video game or tabletop or both, or like what's sort of like your history like with the RPG?
The history with the RPG.
Like what was your first? What was baby's first RPG?
Oh, the baby first RPG. I think I probably played some before I knew there was a term.
Sure.
But the first, like, this is a game with RPG elements, Deva, here, was Mass Effect.
Ah, okay.
So that's relatively new-ish.
New-ish, but you say that, but that's still, like, what? Over 10... Oh, God, when did that come out?
No.
When did that come out? Oh.
2001 was 5 years ago. What are you talking
about? Oh, God. Mass Effect came out... Yep, 2007. So 14 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So that's fun.
I don't know what you're talking. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah. They just came out with one 5 years ago. 2 was 4 years ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Mass Effect's great. Now it seems like you like you said, a lot of story-driven stuff. Now.
Yeah.
Did you grow up with video games, like as in your youth, or what?
Ish.
Okay.
I had video games, but they were more like the educational kind.
Oh, okay, like what?
So I had Carmen Sandiego. I believe it was called Math Blasters.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I had that one with the little green alien dude.
Yep.
I had a couple Magic School Bus ones. I can identify geodes.
Yeah.
Or at least one geode.
Thank you, Miss Frizzle.
And the layers of the earth. Because I grew up in a house that was very like, if you're going to participate in any media, anything, learn from it, please, child.
I see.
So it was, Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail's great.
That's not, I mean, okay, I'm going to divert for a second and tell you what I really want. I really want there to, have you seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
No, but I've heard of it.
No? Okay. So any like that, or like Shaun of the Dead, just something that's kind of like takes horror and bends it on its side.
Mm-hmm.
I want that with Oregon Trail. I want a feature film.
It would be good.
Yes.
Now, would you want that to be like? I haven't seen Tucker and Dale. But pitch the tone of the Oregon Trail movie.
Okay. Edgar Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Or Guillermo del Toro could make a really trippy Oregon Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have Oregon Trail. So you have this group of people and they're like, we're going to go on the Oregon Trail. And the first thing they do is they go to that little store that you do at the beginning of the game. They're like, oh, shoot, I can only buy food or clothing. And they're like, who needs clothes? We can wear the blood of our enemies, even though we don't kill anyone in this game.
The blood of the animals.
Getting weird.
Blood of the animals.
Yeah, you know.
Sure.
You cut open a tauntaun, we'll be fine. Then you go, and then the first thing that happens is someone dies of dysentery, and you're like, oh my gosh. And so it's going to be crazy. And then, of course, there's going to be zombies on the Oregon Trail at this point, because why not? It's Hollywood.
Of course.
They want money.
Okay, so you're like going out there with it.
I'm going very out there. It wasn't originally, but as I started talking, it just kind of kept going.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm down with that. Edgar Wright, I think, would make a great Oregon Trail movie. So funny that you mentioned educational games. For me, I did grow up with like, you know, regular video games, but educational video games were like, my mom would be like, you can play as many of these as you want. Like, well, because my mom was very frugal, so like, you know, only like a couple like video games on like your birthday or whatever you get. Like I would get a new one very rarely, but for an educational one, she'd be like, oh, I'll, you know, these are good for you, so yeah, I'll just get these for whatever. And they were all, you know, computer games like yeah, I definitely played Carmen Sandiego. Did you play any of the Jumpstart games at all, or know what that is?
Was there a bunny?
There was a bunny in the kindergarten one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, then I must have played
Are you thinking of Rita Rabbit? Rita Rabbit?
No. I think I want to, because Jumpstart sounds
Jumpstart
familiar?
had let's see, there's a third grade one where you're a robot in like Mystery Mountain.
I was not smart enough to play the third grade one, I don't think.
Okay.
Or I was not in third grade.
Got it. Well, those are ones that I played a lot of as a kid, or I'm trying to think of other ones. But now, what was your first non-educational video game then?
So I played Super Mario when we would visit a like friends of the family. Is there was a teenage son, and he was like the cool kid.
Yeah.
He had the video games downstairs, and so we'd go play like Mario Kart. But the first video game that I bought with my own money that I saved up for years was I got a Nintendo 64 that my mom helped me get.
Yeah.
And I bought, I don't even know the full name of this game. It was the pod racing game based on Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's working. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, that was the first game you bought.
Yep.
And was it
started real high?
Was it everything you had imagined it to be?
It was, because I had played it before at my cousin's, but it lived up to my dreams of. I just liked racing.
Okay. Any other racing games?
No.
Nope, just that one. Got it. It peaked, you know,
there. I race in like arcades, but it did peak. But you know, if you play Mario Kart, to me that is like the apex of pinnacle. Racing games.
Yeah, I agree.
So
got it.
It's all downhill from there.
Okay. So you have some history with, you know, obviously with video games, and you got your BBC. Any other nerdy shit that you're into?
Dungeons and Dragons. Is that nerdy shit?
I would say that qualifies, yes.
Okay. It feels like it's pretty like it's like a cool kid thing now though too, right?
It's interesting how it's changed.
It's changed. Yeah.
So D&D, that's something that, did you also grow up with that as well?
No, I did not. I don't even know if I knew what it was for a long time. But then again, I learned things kind of late. Like I had a revelation that Face Off, the movie, the title is,
it's a play.
It goes both ways. Yeah. So that only clicked like a couple months ago.
let me ask you one question. Which meaning did you recognize for Face Off?
I was like, it's a face off because they switched their faces. Oh, right?
Got it.
The face is off.
Yes.
And then,
so the more important element. Yeah.
The more important. And then like at 9 o'clock in the morning one day, I'm just getting up. I have a coffee. And I think, you know, I have to express this verbally. Yeah. And so I just yell out into the ether, also known as like the bedroom.
Yeah.
off. They also face off with each other. And you have my husband. Yeah, they do.
Everyone knows that.
Everyone already knows that. Sweet. I'm like, yeah, but I'm learning it right now. This is a revelation.
No, those revelations are.
That was
important.
a highlight of my 2020.
Well, so sorry, going back to D&D.
You're totally fine.
Okay, so D&D. You said that's a pretty recent-ish. Hobby of yours. Okay. Got it. On the podcast, I've said many times before, I actually have very little experience with D&D. I've played it once, but I've had many people on who are big fans of D&D, and they're always trying to get me to play, which I'm not opposed to. But I guess to sum it up for you, what is like the TLDR version of why you love it?
I love it because I get to spend time with my friends.
Okay.
That's the corny answer, but that's really why I enjoy it.
I see. So is it more so that, well, I'm sure you enjoy doing it because it's fun, but like if it were something else, would you also just be, hey, whatever we're all doing? Is it that sort of thing? Or
a little bit, probably. I like to be where the people are.
You want to see them stand in? Okay, yeah, got it.
But I do love the fantastical elements of it. I found that I need to play with a group of people who I already know and trust because it feels, for me at least, very vulnerable playing a character when I'm not made up to look like it. I'm not on a stage where I'm playing a character or anything. It's just very much, this is my brain.
Yeah.
And there's no script. So for me, it helps being with a group of people that I know and care about, and that I know will take care of me as my character too. So yeah.
Okay. And but you also like RPGs, so I imagine all the stat building and all that, it also appeals to you, I'm sure, as well. A little less. I'm
not very min-max.
Is it too busy for you? Like too maintenance or what?
I only play like hardcore now and then when I'm like super want to make sure that I'm maxing my character out with whatever in the best stuff. Yeah. But for me, I'm more like, oh, this looks really cool. I want to wear that one. Or and going back to just like the story, I'm more invested in what's happening with these characters than if they are the best at smashing.
Sure. Yeah, you're more into the role playing side than the game side, which I totally respect. Yeah.
Also, I hope this conversation is interesting and not very boring for you and your listeners.
I assure you, it has not been boring at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want it to be boring? Like, we can make it really boring. Do you want to do like long pauses? And
I boiled some water this morning for my tea.
Yeah, what kind of tea?
Chamomile.
Was it good?
No.
Oh.
I forgot honey.
I see.
It's very bland, but I have some allergies going on, so I'm like, this seems like the type of thing you would have. So I'll have some tea.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. No. Now, I actually like to give the guest an opportunity. If you would like, you can is there a topic you would like to bring up, or a question for me, or anything of that, like that?
Oh.
Not to put you on the spot, but if there's anything. If not, don't worry about it. We can keep talking about tea or lack of honey within tea.
Well, okay. So this is something that I guess this is like a creeper thing. I was trying to look at some of the titles of the books behind you.
Okay, sure.
And like some other videos and things. I was like, enhance, zoom.
Yeah.
I've watched enough spy movies to know that's how you do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Didn't work, unfortunately. But I was wondering, like, it looks like you have, I don't know if those are DVDs or if those are games or manga or books or all of the above.
Behind me is primarily, let's see, there's some books, some manga, some video games, yeah, it's a mix of all those. Yeah.
Have you found anything in this last we live at home time? Have you found anything new that you are really liking
in terms of reading?
Anything really, like if there's a new thing that you found that you really enjoy, whether that's like a whole new genre of show or games or something you're doing.
I would say during quarantine, stuff that has sort of popped up is, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but a friend of mine came up with the idea of Mario-themed trivia, where the trivia, actually, it's all Mario-related questions, but also there are items you get each round that can either help you or hurt the other players. So it's like, and it was brilliant. And so I was like, okay, I want to make some of my own. So I did my own Mario trivia. Also, there's I was like, I'm going to make a Pokemon trivia. I don't know how familiar you are with Pokemon, but it's entirely like, my goal with it was to make it so that it's fun for people who are like big Pokemon fans, and for people who have no idea, who have absolutely no experience with Pokemon. Because it's like all the questions are Pokemon related, but also there's a whole other half of it that's like, there's like, you get moves that you can fire against other players, and there's there's a lot of other stuff. So I've had a lot of success with it where, half the players love Pokemon, half the players don't know shit about Pokemon. They don't know anything about it, but everyone equally has a good time. So that's sort of something that's been an interesting development, because now other friends of ours have started making their own trivias, like
that's awesome.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy VII trivia, or all Zelda trivia. These have all sort of popped up. So that's one thing that I never did before quarantine. Otherwise, I'm trying to think of, how about you? Is there anything that popped up for you during this that you weren't necessarily doing before?
I discovered Webtoons.
Webtoons.
Yeah,
oh, the Korean like comics?
Yeah. So I one website, I think it was originally all Korean comics, and then they were able to start translating them into other languages as well as English. And there's just a lot that are so good, and it's a format of story that I was unfamiliar with, and I don't remember how I stumbled upon it, but one day I did, and then I just kind of, I fell down the webtoon rabbit hole, as it were.
Is there like a particular title that you would recommend to our listeners and me? Like one you're like, oh, you gotta read this webtoon.
What do you want to feel?
Ooh, I'm actually open to all genres, all sorts of feelings. Like I love stuff that makes me like cry. I love stuff that's super slice of life. I love drama. I love all sorts. I'm open to pretty much anything.
Let's see. There's a couple that I really like. Some that are really good, but that I'm not reading as much because right now I just want to be experiencing uplifting feelings so that I can save all my angst for, the world.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's one that I've fallen in love with called the Cursed Princess Club.
Okay. What is that?
It's a hug is what it is. So it's essentially the story that we all know of there is a king in a place that has some daughters, and they're all gorgeous except one of them, and I say this with all the love in my heart, appears to look more like half reptilian-ish. But what's so magical about it is no one sees that in her. All of her family and the people that she loves, they only see the beauty in her, but she's kind of reconciling with this, whether or not it is actually her, or if she is cursed and she stumbles upon in the woods a group of cursed princesses. And it's fantastic.
This looks very cute.
It's really cute.
Is she the green-haired one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really cute. It deals with a lot of things that you go through as a kid. Self-acceptance, wanting to belong. And it's really precious. The author, I Am Lambcat, which is just cute. She also does music for every episode.
Oh, wow.
So she does the art and the story and the music, which I think is amazing.
So does it play with as you're reading it? Or oh, wow, that is cool.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
It's really nice. A couple others that I think are really fun. There's one called Hooves of Death.
Ooh, okay.
So that is, I guess the best way I can describe it is take Walking Dead, but throw a ton of unicorns in it and make some of them really freaky.
Okay. I like the art style for this.
I think it's super fun.
Very cool.
And there's a lot of gems in it. And one thing I love is normally the comment section of anything is just, a terrible place to be.
Sure.
You're like, oh, worst of humanity in the comment section.
Sure.
And basically 99% of comments I see on these webtoons are people who are supporting the artists who are making these. And if the artist says at the very bottom, like, hey, I've been working too hard and I need to take a rest with my hand, everyone is like, yes, no, please rest as much as you need. You're amazing. I'm like, oh, I like this little corner of the internet.
That's great. Yeah.
It's just refreshing.
It's nice to find like nice comment sections on things.
Yeah.
No, I've heard great things about Webtoons. I haven't really dug into them myself, but I may have to check them out. Now, do you dabble or read manga at all?
I have a manga upstairs. I haven't read any yet. Webtoons are really like my first foray into kind of comics.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
In general. But it's something that I'm wanting to do.
What manga do you have? You said you have a manga.
Oh, I would have to go upstairs and find it.
It's one.
I can tell you what
book?
Shelf it's on.
Wait, it's one book?
I have a book.
Can you describe it? I might be able to name it if you describe.
I haven't read it yet.
Got it. Okay, but
it's on a shelf.
Okay, it's a book. It's on a shelf, and it's a manga.
This is terrible. I just said I want to read some, and here I am, and I have one.
No. It's all good.
It's there.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't remember who gave it to me either. A friend of mine gave it to. Oh,
it's got pictures and words in it. I assume.
There's pictures. There's words. There's a cover.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. So you haven't read a manga yet, but you do have a manga.
Not read a manga yet.
And you will read it at some point.
Yeah.
Got it.
At least I'm like pretty sure. I'm questioning now whether it is a manga or whether it is just like
it's just like a cookbook.
I don't know what it is. It could
Schrodinger's
be
manga at this point. You don't know what it is. Okay. Okay. So then on that note, then anime then are you do you watch any anime?
A little bit.
What little bit of anime have you watched as a treat?
Well, Tiny Me would get up in the morning for Saturday morning cartoons, and I would watch Digimon.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I would watch Digimon. I didn't grow up as like a Pokemon player. I remember like the cards were banned at the school after a while in elementary because it was like, oh, this is all the kids are doing. And people were really into that, but Digimon was where it was at for me.
Are we talking first season, second season, first season, I assume?
I watched quite a lot. Yeah, I did watch I started not quite at the beginning. I think like a few episodes in is where I started. And I watched quite a lot, but I loved that it was the first show that I'd ever watched as a kid where a storyline would go through multiple episodes. It wasn't just all, the same characters, but everything was episodic where it was encapsulated in one episode. So that was fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And I super enjoyed it.
The stakes are high in that show too. Like
they're very high.
I don't know if you recall Wizardmon's. Do you remember Wizardmon? Wizardmon was the Digimon who looked like a wizard. He dies.
As you would.
Actually, I forget the exact details. I think to protect Gatomon. Now, do you remember the character? Like, did you have a favorite Digimon character in the show?
So I don't remember the names, but I can tell you what they all looked like.
Sure. Who was your absolute favorite based off their appearance?
There was the one guy who, based on their appearance only.
Oh no! I mean, no.
Oh,
favorite character, but describe their appearance.
Oh.
So if you don't know their name.
So I want to make sure that I'm not confusing this with something else. So I'm pulling it. Okay, yes, that's right. So there was the one dude who was cool. He had the goggles and like the spiky brown hair.
Yeah, Ty. Yeah, the main.
Yeah,
the main
Ty.
guy.
Yeah, and he had the little dinosaur Digimon.
Agumon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know all the names. This is why we're a good team.
Yes.
Because I can tell you what they look like, and you can be like, "This is the names." We would kick butt at trivia when I'm like, "This is exactly what the trivia were." I'll paint you a picture.
Yeah. Unless the question was about the manga on your shelf, then we would drop the ball on that.
Then we would lose.
Yeah.
But we would.
No, Ty's a good choice. Yeah.
Ty's great. Yeah.
I was very much into Digimon as well. Watched a lot of the first one. Did you watch any of the second season at all with the new kids?
No, there were new. Wait, no, I think I watched a little bit and then I was very upset. Because I'm like, why are you? You're abandoning the old cast. Why are you changing that? Yes.
I see. For me, I enjoyed it because it was the old guard. They were like older. I think they were like high school or college or something. And then they still had them there along with the new kids. And
sure, yeah.
I enjoyed both seasons. But kind of going back to manga, do you want recommendations?
Oh, yes, please. Let me.
Since you seem to be very much into the Webtoon sphere.
I'm writing them.
Sure.
Just so you know, I have my phone out. I'm just writing down the recommendations.
So based off what you were telling me, you want stuff that's more feel good, not necessarily super angsty or super.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm fine with, with drama ensuing. That's how you get plot. But something that just on the whole is a bit more.
Sure.
Fun.
One that comes to mind, I've been really enjoying this one. Have you heard of BL Metamorphosis?
BL Metamorphosis?
BL Metamorphosis. I'll paste it into the chat, the title.
Thank you.
The premise of this one, it's very sweet. It's about a high school girl and a 75-year-old woman who become friends because they both are interested in boys love manga. So like the grandma just stumbles upon this, having never known what boys love or yaoi manga is at all, and just goes, "Oh, this is lovely," and then like she befriends this high school girl, and it's just them, being very just forming their friendship. The high school girl is very like not confident in her own in herself and like wants to be an artist, and the grandma is like trying to like encourage her. It's very, very sweet.
That sounds really sweet.
I would recommend that one. That one is just very
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
It's very sweet. And then of course, I don't know about you, but for me, fiction with old people always makes me emotional a little bit, but in a good way. Because of course she, her husband passed away, and it's like
I have to send you a video.
Oh God.
No. But it's not people. It's cats. But it's a really old cat.
Oh, please do.
So
Please
it's people. It's the people story of the grumpy person, but in a cat.
Okay, I would love to see it.
You will feel things.
Another one. Are you a cat person?
I'm an animal person in general.
You're an animal person,
but I have 2 cats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard of? Do you know who Junji Ito is?
Junji Ito.
Mm-hmm. Junji Ito is a very well-known, highly regarded horror mangaka. But he did a one-shot manga called Junji Ito's Cat Diary, and it is extremely funny, and it's not horror at all, but it's illustrated like with his sort of style. So it's like,
oh yeah.
So it's like, imagine like a slice of life, like, oh, this is what my cat did. It's so funny, but with like kind of exaggerated like kind of reactions of like what you would see in a horror manga. It is extremely funny. As a cat owner, I laughed out loud several times. It's only 1 volume too. I would recommend that one as well.
Okay, yeah. What's your cat's name?
I have 2 cats, Effie and Sophie, and they're both black cats. And then I would say 2 more.
Okay.
This one it's very dear to my heart, and I don't think a lot of people have read this one. It's called With the Light, Raising an Autistic Child, and it's about a mother who it's just about her raising her autistic son. And it was also written at a time, this was maybe 2001, where Japan was very much like, let's not talk about autism, let's, whatever, let's kind of just, we don't want to talk about that. And this manga was very like empathetic and supportive of autism, and a very like, my one of my siblings is autistic, and so for me there is a lot of she really did her research and like what it's like to raise an autistic child. So that one's very good, very, very, it's like very sweet but also very moving, because it's just her like trying to teach people about about autism, especially during a time where a lot of people did not know about, or they didn't want to talk about it in Japanese society. So that one's really good. And then, I don't know, and maybe you've heard of this last one, but Yotsuba? Have you ever heard of a Yotsuba?
No.
I'll write it in the chat. This is like the ultimate...
I spelled it right!
Oh, nice. This is the ultimate, like, sort of slice of life manga. Like, it's just about...
Okay, yeah.
About a dad and his daughter, his adopted daughter. They just do cute things. You might have seen this character before, but it is, like, beautifully illustrated, extremely funny. Were you ever a fan of, like, or did you ever read, like, Calvin and Hobbes as a kid, or know what that is?
As an adult.
As an adult, sure. Yeah, I still love Calvin and Hobbes. I would almost describe it as kind of like Japan's Calvin and Hobbes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I would say check that out if you're interested.
I will check all those out. Thank you.
Yeah. So those are like some feel good ones if you're down for that. Now, is there anything that we haven't covered in your interests? Like, we've talked about role-playing games, we've talked about BBC video games, is there anything else that we have not touched upon that you think is it an important aspect? If we want to know, Deva, what is what is important to know?
What is important to know about Deva? Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay. Deva speaks in the third person, apparently. I'm huge into improv.
Okay.
Which I never thought I would be. I care a lot about the environment. I love stage, and I miss it, like the theater. Yeah, D&D. I like my cats.
So you have cats too. What are your cats'
I do
names?
have cats. Their names are Spoon and Luna.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know if this can...
I can see them. Yeah, that's very.
Yeah, those are my babies.
They are very cute. Let's see if you can. I doubt you can see mine because of the glare, but one of my cats is my.
Oh,
yeah, she's
that's like cat GQ right there.
This is a friend of mine took this photo of her, and it's like the most stunning
cat
photo.
Vogue. Then there you go. Yeah, pretty kitty.
Now, let's sort of. I guess I'm curious about. Let's dive into the acting side of things then.
Okay.
With voiceover, what was your sort of path into getting into voiceover? Because you clearly have like a stage background and improv background, and that was that, I assume, before voiceover or concurrent or what?
So stage has been something I've done for ever, unless I got too shy, which was both.
Sure.
And improv is something that I started doing after I was studying VO and had done some, but it was very much I'm always trying to learn more, and so I'll go to workshops, classes, clinics for voiceover.
Yeah.
And you always hear, improv is a huge asset. Improv is huge. So I'm like, okay, fine, because it was I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it at all. So I finally said, as a birthday gift to myself, I'm gonna do it.
Sure.
And I wrangled someone to come with me, who happens to be my dungeon master for one of my campaigns that I'm in. And we went, and I started studying at Second City a few years ago. Had met some incredible people, and I ended up graduating from their improv program and joining the conservatory program, doing shows. That's not the path to VO. That's different.
No, but that's still interesting. It's still interesting. I'm still interested in hearing about it. Okay. And then VO, where did VO come into it?
So one of the very earliest things with VO is I knew that it existed. And I think as a child, I didn't quite realize. I mean, I knew that characters weren't alive in their own right. I knew there was probably there was someone, but as I got a little older, I learned that was something people did.
Sure.
That they could do that, and that was illuminating for me. So I was in a show at one point called The Philadelphia Story, and I was called back for a character called Liz Embry, and she was a New Yorker, and the show takes place in like the 30s, I think. And so I went into the callback. I'd never gone into a callback with like a character voice, but I just went in and I was like, this is how she is in my head.
Sure.
And so I kind of went in with a little bit of Katharine Hepburn sort of thing. Yeah, see? And I ended up getting the role, and throughout, one of my castmates who ended up directing me in several other plays had said, I think you should look at voiceover as something. I think you find your characters through your voice. And I said, oh, you know what? That's kind of true. And my husband works on. He works in video games with cutscenes and trailers, and so he'd worked with voice actors and thought that was something also I might enjoy doing, especially because I had been pursuing film as well as stage, and I found that film was not the medium for me at that time in my life. I was everyone experiences this. I can only say it from the lens of a young woman. But it was a lot of your hair's too long for this. That's ingenue here. You're not an ingenue. You're too quirky, but you're too short to be this person.
Yeah.
And so you would need to gain this much weight to do that, or lose this much to do this. And I'm like, oh my, no, I need to protect my brain.
Right.
Please, I can't. And I loved the idea that in voiceover, you know, I wasn't limited by my body, and that I could play roles that I wouldn't be able to on film or on stage. And I ended up just really pursuing it as heavily as I did anything else. And so I immersed myself in it. And after many years, it started to pay off. That's how it goes.
What was your first gig?
World of Warcraft. I was paid for something, but it folded.
Got it. That happens also, yes.
That happens a lot. Yeah. So I was something and then it went. Got it. But I was cast as a character named Addie Fizzlebog.
Okay.
She is a gnome hunter. They had recently introduced hunters as a class for gnomes that they couldn't be previously. And she was just really, really fun, and I loved her. And she was the first experience in a, you know, as an actor in a studio where it was just me.
Yeah. What year would that have been? Because World of Warcraft is still going, right?
It is still going. Yeah, I'm actually gonna look it up. 2016 is when this came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, you know, like a year ago.
Yeah, like how...
As we established how time works.
Mass Effect was right before that, right? We played all of Mass Effect, and then you got your... Yeah, exactly. Okay, so with voiceover being something that you're... Would you say it has taken the priority, or do you still, like... Are you still, like, stage and voiceover are, like, equal priorities at this point? Or what is your sort of... Because I've talked to a lot of people who also have, you know, theater backgrounds, and, you know, a lot of them have been like I was talking to, I don't know if you know Tom Taylorson.
I know that.
Got it, yeah. Well, I was talking to him, and, you know, he had, you know, been very, you know, working in theater for years and years and years, and then voiceover just, now it's all, you know, pretty much voiceover all the way. Now, but what is it like for you? Is it the focus or what?
Voiceover is definitely my career focus. That is what I want to do. That I just want to continue doing it as long as people will hire.
Yeah.
And you know, all aspects. I do a fair bit of narration, you know, audiobooks, any, you know, commercial work, promo, video game animation, anything that I can do in this world I want to be doing, because I love I love the workings, I love the medium, I love the people. But theater will always be my first home. That is it's a completely different experience, you know, with VO. If you got, you know, a script or have a character, you're gonna have to learn on the fly. Where with theater, it's, you know, months of going into that character's head and studying with other people. So both very rewarding, and currently, you know, theater's on the back burner a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Can't quite, you know, go onto a stage.
What was, looking back at your theater experience, what was your favorite role that you've ever done?
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. Favorite role. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm being such a terrible answerer of questions.
Or you could list a couple if you want. If you can't choose your absolute favorite.
Okay. One would be Chris Gorman in the show Rumors, which is a fantastic show. If anyone can ever see it, highly recommend. It's a great comedy, and the reason why that character meant a lot to me is because she she helped me in a time period that was very a little unstable and unpredictable. And so that was the memory of that character with that cast specifically was great. And also it was, it's a really funny show. Another character who is going to stick with me for a while is the last character that I played before the pandemic, the P word. The play was Exit Pursued by a Bear. Written by Lauren Gunderson, who's one of my favorite contemporary playwrights. And that show was a comedy, but it was a very dark comedy. It was, I was describing it when I was in rehearsals, describing it to my husband. I was like, yeah, this is not a comedy like the ones you've seen me in. This is more, I referenced BoJack earlier, but it goes into BoJack territory.
I see.
Like it does that. That character, I played Sweetheart. She was her whole thing was she was a stripper. And she had this inner strength that was so present. And so her whole goal through this show was to help another woman who was, I promise this is a comedy, she was in an abusive relationship. And it was, she meets this woman named Sweetheart, and she's like, hey, can you help me with this? And she's like, yes, I have this plan. We're going to tie your husband up to a chair and we're going to slather him in honey until he apologizes and makes things right. And if he doesn't, then we're just going to stick a bear on him because we live in the mountains in Georgia.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that in itself is a pretty good plug for this show.
It's a good show.
What is the name of the show again?
Exit Pursued by a Bear.
That is a good title.
It's I think it's which Shakespeare? It's a stage direction in Shakespeare. It's from A Winter's Tale. It's taken from a stage direction where one guy exits the stage.
I did not know that. That's great.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was poignant and it was also really funny. It was good.
And so I guess the last question I'll ask you as we wrap up here is, and I assume once everything's safe, what are you most excited for? Is it theater or is it what is it? Hugs, just physical contact with other people.
I want to be able to look at people in the eyes. I say as I look into a camera lens.
Yeah.
I get excited when I can go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
I never thought I would be excited. First time going to the grocery store and all this, no, I was panicked. I was not okay.
Sure.
And now I'm like, I can have interactions with another human being. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Really just being able to be in a space and feel safe with other people. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah. I think for a lot of us, it's, we really are valuing, what we took for granted before.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be extra, once we're allowed to, I think the sheer adrenaline rush of just doing things we took for granted will be a good experience. But we're getting towards the finish line. So hopefully you'll be able to get that human contact you need.
Yeah. I hope so.
Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
I am on the social medias at my name, Deva, DEVA _Marie, MARIE.
Cool.
Is me.
All right, on all those social medias. Well, thank you very much.
On 2 of them.
On 2 of them. Which 2 are they?
I'm not on the others.
Twitter and what?
Instagram.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, again, Go follow Deva on both of those. And yeah, thank you very much for chatting.
Thank you.